Here's why I'm giving this lecture. This month, I'm getting 2 publications, or one for sure in the Journal of Gastroenterology Research, showing complete elimination of C. diff in 8 patients just using the probiotic, because if they came to me, I would have used ozone as well. But this was Dr. Kilcup out in Arizona, his patients. But the second publication is on ozone for Lyme disease. Now, back in 2017, and I'm allowed to say this, Marla Maples came to me with Lyme, Trump's second wife, and I cured her of Lyme, and she became the big fundraising speaker for a wonderful organization called the Global Lyme Alliance. And they basically raised money, millions of dollars for Lyme research, a test that can truly prove it's gone, and a better method of treatment. And I sat at her table as her special guest at their big fundraiser with all the big heads of the organization, the president, the CEO, everybody. And they all knew about me and ozone, and they had no desire whatsoever to pursue it. Now we speed ahead to November of 2019, and I'm sitting in my office with the chief science officer, Timothy Scolati, and their chairman of their board, and we're talking about doing a Lyme ozone project, $1.25 million. I didn't get a nickel, and up at Tufts University Medical School's research department in Boston. I brought them up a machine. They started to do it in March of 2020, and it was shut down 2 weeks later because of the pandemic. They reopened it after the pandemic was over, and now their goal was not to publish on does ozone work on Lyme, but how does it work? Because I've been treating people for many years. The reason GLA wanted to do that is because if you do mice first, which is what they used, and now I'm supposed to fly out, the next stage is a $2 million study that they won't pay me for, at in Oregon at a primate research center, which I'm not happy about because I give money to the Akumal Spider Monkey Rescue and Animal Sanctuary in Akumal, Mexico, and Howard the Spider Monkey is named for me, and they're probably going to euthanize the primates that they do this with, because I guess that's their way, even if you win. And the reason for primates is because after that, it's what I've been doing for 35 years and over 430,000 intravenous ozone therapies, human trials, if you want to call it that, because they want the FDA to approve it. Not because you need the FDA to allow you to practice and do this in your state, they don't control that, but they want FDA approvals so that it becomes something that everybody will be willing to use and do for Lyme disease. So I don't like to read slides, you all can read it, you can get copies of it. So basically speaking, that's what causes Lyme disease. And Lyme is airborne. I know that some of you are treating Lyme patients and you don't know it because you're treating them for something else. One of my podcasts is called Lyme Disease, the Great Imposter Mimic Pandemic. And there's one way to get rid of Lyme disease completely, instantly. You have to go to Australia. As soon as you get off the plane and your feet are down in Australia, Lyme is gone. Because the Australian government has declared Lyme disease does not exist in Australia. So you cannot have it anymore. Fortunately for my past Australian patients and future ones, they go to Tessa Jones, an MD in New Zealand who I trained, so they don't have to come to New York to get treated for Lyme. So, basically they studied, by the way, Borrelia, Bergdorfi, and Minamoti in this Lyme study that you'll see at the end. Okay, and you know all the different symptoms that Lyme has. I trained 2 doctors from the Democratic Republic of the Congo because we wanted them to treat Ebola, which we did in Sierra Leone successfully and got published on. And I asked them, do you ever see Lyme disease? And they go, no. I said, you have a test for it? They go, no. Then how do you know you don't see Lyme disease in Africa? Because the Lyme, those ticks are airborne. They can be blown anywhere. They don't dig in like the other 200, 300 different species of ticks. They can bite you on your head. You may scratch and wash it out with your shampoo and not even know that you got bit by a Lyme tick. And you don't always see bullseyes. And if you do, it's in your hair. How are you going to know you got a bullseye unless you're bald? So, but you start to feel like you have a little cold or a flu in the summertime or something, and that's probably you got Lyme. And if your immune system is strong, you may not even have a very strong reaction. I've treated somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 Lyme patients over the last 35 years. Most of them, only 8 I just got it. The other, God knows how many, are people that had it between 5 and 20 years, and now they're in late stage Lyme. There's 3 stages of Lyme, as you know, and I call stage 4 death. And people die every day of the year, as the GLA will tell you. Every so many minutes, somebody dies from one of the complications of Lyme disease. So I said over 3,000. It's probably a little more than that. Basically, one of the problems with Lyme and getting paid to treat it. I don't work with insurance companies at all because it's an illegal act. It's actually a class 3 felony if you practice out, according to my attorney, Jacques Simon, if you practice out of the standard of medicine to even do a consultation if you're planning on using something that's not standard of care medicine. So since I only do ozone therapy and nothing but intravenous ozone therapy, I'm not allowed to. Everybody pays cash or check, and you have to have at least 5 bands if you want to get paid by insurance, and then limited as to how many months you can give them antibiotics for. And the way I look at it is, and many of them come in with 3 bands, and I go, I don't care if it's the Rolling Stones, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, or the Beatles. You shouldn't have any bands at all, in my opinion. So you can have any of these co-infections, and that's what Lyme. Lyme is a town in Connecticut that I visited many times, where a whole bunch of people, over 200 people over a 2-year period, came down with these symptoms. And so you can have any of these things, and as far as I'm concerned, it's Lyme disease. Okay, and different percentages of it, and they go through, as you know, life cycles, and depending on their life cycles, they get flare-up of different symptoms. Many of the Lyme patients are sent to psychiatrists because they're in depression, anxiety, and they look great and they feel terrible. So nobody believes they're really sick. It's a real problem for many of them. So I said I've only had, now it's actually, I should have really updated some of these slides. I've now had 7 or 8 cases of I just got it. Because people know me, I have colleagues that come in, friends that come in, doctors, and patients that have had ozone for other reasons, so they know they got Lyme, they come to me right away. Most everybody is stage 3. It's not a light switch, stage 1, 2, or 3, like 2 or 3. It's a dimmer switch, so you could be on the edge of having 2 symptoms and then 3 where it's neurologic Lyme. Not everybody has all the different things. I have to say, one of the problems you have is the kill-off reactions. Herxing is severe. They all know what herxing is. Nobody ever mentions Jarisch. Jarisch was the Swiss doctor that describes what we call herxing now. Basically, it's a cytokine reaction. Their body can't get rid of the waste fast enough. One of the benefits of ozone, and the doctor that was my colleague podiatrist that was talking before, has what if you can control cytokines? Well, ozone is a cytokine modulator. That's why we were successful with Ebola and with COVID. It's a cytokine modulator. So it knocks them down, so you get the benefits of cytokines and not the damage from it. In fact, when you inject ozone into the blood, it mixes with glutathione that's in your body, and you'll create ROSs, reactive oxygen species, which is what's really doing the work. Alkenes, alkanes, peroxides, peroxyls, superoions, things like that, to do that work. And then you're going to create alpha and beta interferon in large amounts, interleukins number 2, 6, 7, and 8, and tumor necrosis factor, which will only last for about 2 hours. So you're not going to have a cytokine storm. So you're getting the benefits of those things against cancer and viruses and whatnot. So it's a pretty amazing medicine. It's a free radical scavenger, okay? It doesn't create harmful free radicals. You do the chemistry. When I train doctors, you do the chemistry. Carbon monoxide, harmful free radical. Can't get rid of it. It's in your blood, just hurting you or kills you. CO plus O3 equals what? CO2 plus O2. The waste product is O2 because you breathe out the carbon dioxide. So it's a free radical scavenger, which is weird. It's an oxymoron because it gets rid of harmful free radicals. It doesn't create them, okay? So there's your bullseye rash. You don't see it all the time. I've only seen it, of the 8 patients that came in with I just got it, I saw it only 5 times. That's why I think I wrote the number 5, okay? The 3 stages, and like I say, the blue and the red are, whatever it is a dimmer switch. It's hard to say, and unfortunately, after, I'm not an LLD, Lyme literate doctor. ILADS won't let me become a member because I'm not an MD or a DO. And so I don't know everything about Lyme. I only know what my buddies taught me and what I've read. And after about 4 years, you don't show antibodies for it easily at all. And that's why you have to go out to, send your blood out to California to hygienics. Some are doing DNA, some are doing, blood cultures to try to, come up with these organisms to prove that you really have it. Because I don't care. I don't test anymore. I just treat, and I get people well. All right? I'm going to try to help them get caught up and go quickly. The blood methods of ozone are wonderful for Lyme disease, specifically hyperbaric high-dose ozone with multipass. This is where we use the Sendical machine that's out there, does hyperbaric high-dose ozone. I use Zotzman machines for it from Germany. Blood comes out into a collection chamber. That's where because it's a vacuum, like a vacutainer. So I take out 200 cc's of blood in about 2 minutes. Then we pressurize the chamber with oxygen and ozone gas. You're not in a chamber. The chamber is in the collection bottle. And that forces the gas into the blood and the blood back into the body in about 2 minutes. So each used to be called a treatment. They did it one treatment at a time in Germany. And our buddy Johann Lahadny from Austria said, why stop? So he wound up doing it without stop 10 times. Now he's working on, as I told the doc here, 20 passes. But in Austria, you can get away with taking risks because you can wood chip and bury them out back. I'm in Midtown Manhattan. There ain't any place to wood chip and bury. And New York State will shut me down if I kill one person or hurt one person with ozone. They don't care if I kill you with a pharmaceutical, and my board knows who I am and what I do. So I don't know, if you all do IV therapies, then I'm not going to play games. You know that at least 7 out of 10 patients have only small veins. So how are you supposed to put a 20 gauge, 18 gauge, a 20 gauge angiocatheter, or an 18 gauge butterfly into a small vein? And I'm being kind when I say 7 out of 10. For a blood method of ozone, you need a needle that can handle blood transfer. If you use anything lower than a 23 gauge angiocatheter, you're going to destroy the red blood cells. So you can't. Sometimes I use a 22 angiocatheter because that takes a 24 gauge It's a 22 gauge introducer with a 24 gauge angiocath. You can do blood if you have to that way. It just slows it down. But in any case, 10-pass, as the nickname began on the internet, is absolutely wonderful for Lyme disease. But you can only do it up to 3 times a week. And you rarely get anything other than mild herxing and almost no herxing at all. With the direct IV method, I'm using a 27 gauge butterfly. I'm able to do 10 out of 10 people, and I can do it every day. Now, while I developed what I call fast track, where you can do every 3 hours, you can do another treatment, Lyme patients can't tolerate the kill-off generally. They herx too easily. They can herx from vitamin C, as you're going to learn in a few minutes. So the one thing that's etched in stone about RMDI, Robin's method of DIV, is nothing is etched in stone. You have to, all my patients have my cell number, and when they call me up, because they must call me up if they had a severe reaction, Herx reaction, I adjust the medicine, even every treatment if necessary, for one reason, to make it more comfortable. These poor people have suffered enough. We don't have to make them suffer more. And you can do DIV with antibiotics. So some of the Lyme patients are on it. I don't put them on it, but their primary care will put them on antibiotics, and I can do ozone at the same time and eliminate the need for that. Okay. You can't see her speak because it's a PDF, so I didn't realize I had to transmit it that way. She's very happy because she was in stage 3 Lyme. She's a young woman. She has kids. She teaches elementary school, and she was able to go back to school, and she's telling you how much she loves what I've done for her. I hate when they say they love me because my wife doesn't like to hear that. Okay? Now, the one thing to remember is you are not the boss when you treat people with ozone. They're not the boss because they're suffered for so long. They want to get over it yesterday before they even met you. And it's going to take a long time to get rid of stage 3 Lyme. I tell them it could take a year or more, okay? Just as it does with antibiotics. It could take a year or more. When you get them just got it, 2 to 3 months it's gone. I mean, when I say gone, you're going to hear what I mean by gone in a few minutes. So I came up with something very interesting. You know, oral, people may object to this, but oral glutathione doesn't work. It doesn't absorb, but intravenous does. And I came up with a glute sandwich. Half your ozone, then the glute, then the other half of your ozone. Okay? And it's an amazing, powerful kill-off because of what I told you ozone does with your natural glute. They can't take it. It's too much kill-off, so don't think to do that. Be careful. I get herxing frequently from DIV ozone where I don't get it from 10-pass. But I bookend 10 passes with DIVs, and only for the few people that have veins that are big enough anyway. So everybody else just gets it. I start at a 20 cc concentration, at a 20 cc volume at a 40 microgram concentration. I won't go lower than a 30 microgram per cc concentration. Please object to anybody using the word gamma for concentration. What the hell is a gamma? Gamma rays from outer space, okay? There's no measurement in medicine for gamma, and I want this to become standard of care medicine. So you want to talk in micrograms, milligrams, grams, kilos. That's what doctors understand. So I'm using 40 and the machines talk on micrograms, not in gammas, all right? And you may have to adjust every treatment. Now, why don't I get oxidative stress reactions? Because I don't, ever, in all my years doing this. 430,000 treatments, because all my patients know they have to be well hydrated. If I have to explain why well hydrated, I'm in the wrong place talking to the wrong group. Vitamin C. If you put ozone in a test tube with vitamin C, they will negate each other. Your human body is not a test tube. Why don't I change blood titers of medications or supplements? Because we used to test everything. Because you're not going to meet, Ozone, when it enters your blood, is going to destroy every bacteria, virus, fungus, yeast, mold, parasite, toxin, and harmful free radical. I will remove toxic metals from your body because it chelates, but even more importantly, with only the DIV method, I can take toxic metals off nerve tissue. And no other form of and we have ways of proving it. I don't have time to tell you now. Go to the booth and I'll tell you later. But vitamin C is essential to every cell of your body, for the Krebs cycle, for every healthy cellular reaction. I look on it as a coenzyme. And lastly, I kill all the good boys off with ozone, just not instantly like antibiotics. That's why I had to develop Doctor's Biome Colon Health. It's a long story. We don't have any time for it. But grab some of the damn supplements that are out, they're not samples. That's the full thing. And take them, because I don't want to carry any of them in the thing. Take one of these. I'm getting a hip replacement in a few weeks. I'm not 77 years old. It slows the aging process, and I've lectured on that with Rowan, but get this, use the QR code, buy it wholesale, get a coupon code for your patients so they get it cheaper. You make money every time you sell it, and the company asked me to do this, I will do this. If you know and you have hospital privileges that can get the Doctor's Biome in a hospital, you will make more money absolutely doing no work for the rest of your life than you can make in medical practice. You will be making commissions like you can't imagine. Just get it in, help them open a door to get it into one hospital. So all my patients take this because I don't have any GI problems. All my Lyme patients have been on antibiotics up the kazoo. They're dealing with candidiasis and all the symptoms of candidiasis as well. Okay? So there's no way there can't be. And if you eat red meat or chicken that isn't organic or farm-raised fish, you're going to get uncooked out doses of antibiotics. I don't care if you burn the meat, unless you're eating, hopefully, kosher or halal.
What's the direct one?
You drink 1 2-ounce shot a day. And it's delicious.
Yeah,
that was important. And it's shelf stable. It doesn't need refrigeration. It has prebiotic in it. It's growing every day in number. So it is billions of, hundreds of, literally tens. It starts with 27 billion in I don't have time. Come to the booth, I'll tell you all about it. They got me here at 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay. So you have to up and down the concentration. One of the biggest problems I have with Lyme disease is some people come in when it's too late. They waited, they're near death. They're going to die, and you can't help everybody. So their herxing is so severe they will stop coming. So I act as a cheerleader to try to keep them coming in when they wake up in the morning and they feel like garbage and they can't get out of bed. I tell them what, the homeless man that comes up to the old woman in the street and goes, "Lady, I haven't eaten in 2 weeks." She goes, "Force yourself." So I tell them, force yourself to come in, because that's what does it. There is no average, typical, usual number of treatments ever for any medical problem, let alone Lyme disease. But late-stage Lyme can take months. They start to feel better after a couple of months of care, if not right away. The sicker you are, often the sooner you feel better. The minimum is 3 treatments a week. It's medicine. Ozone is medicine. How many medicines can you give just 1 dose 3 times a week and fix something, unless it's going to kill you like the stuff they advertise on TV? Okay? When all the now here's the catch. When all their symptoms are gone for an entire month, which whatever time that takes, then I knock it down to twice a week for 4 weeks, then once a week for 4 weeks, and here's my change that I made a few years ago. Then once a month forever, or until they develop a Lyme test that truly can prove it's gone. Because I've had people that have come back some years later with new symptoms that I knew right away was just Lyme disease returning. And we treated them again. So I have been putting it into remission in my earlier years, just like antibiotics do, and I just didn't know it. Okay? This is the paper. Okay? I put down just some of the names. When they sent it to me, I was 4 and Tanya Petnicki, it was the number 5th author, and I said, how the hell, she's doing all the work. Why is she 5th author? And I figured out all the department heads have their names first, and then the work done by the PhD is last. So I just reversed it. And I'm going to be very honest. I even asked my buddy Rowan to help me with this. I don't really understand what they did. It's way beyond my medical training and knowledge base. But I got a basic idea of what it's done. And notice what it's stem cells. That's what blew me away. Bone marrow stem cells, which is perfect for this group. So you can read this. You can try to figure out what the heck it means, but it was a very positive thing because they got it into a tier 1 medical journal, accepted it, which I can't get, no one of us can get into normally. So now I'm published on Lyme disease, which is pretty cool. Okay, everybody got pictures. You can get copies of all this. I don't have a copy of it, a galley proof to bring yet. Because they may have questions, they want things changed. And there's Marla, when I was at her Global Lyme Alliance thing some years ago, and I told you all about that to begin with. And thank you all for listening to me. And I got 1 minute and 7 seconds. Any questions?
So you have 2 substances, vitamin C and ozone, that have contradictory effects within the human body.
No, they don't.
No.
The human body is not a test tube. It meets so many other things that the ozone is used up fighting all those other things. And remember, ozone dissolves instantly in the blood. And some of it, according to me and Lahadny, or Lahadny and I, some of it attaches onto the empty iron molecules in the red blood cells where they've been depleted from oxygen as an O3. We believe in that. But otherwise, it dissolves instantly in blood into ROSs and LOPs that I mentioned before. So it isn't going to have that reaction that does take place, but in so minutely, there's no concern about it whatsoever.